Hello again, Dr. Russ Rosen here, and I was just I got an email from a doc just this morning, and he had a couple of questions, so I figured that I would just go ahead and answer it. I'll just go live, and that'll save me having to type a long email and or make a video and deal with all that. So the doctor basically asked this question. He said that he's been having better results doing visit one and then visit two report of findings, and then doing several adjustments, several sessions, and then giving the report of findings. And he's saying that it seemed to work better because at that point we have been able to explain the problem, plan for treatment, and added value for the patient as they understand now more what they're paying for. What are your thoughts? So here's the deal. This gets tricky because I'm always looking at headspace and procedure. If you've ever done any one-on-one coaching with me, you know that we're always looking at that. And the only way I could really clarify what this doctor's headspace issues are, if there are any, would be to ask a whole bunch of questions. And I don't have that ability to do that in this format. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you some thoughts. Now, as far as headspace goes, there are, in fact, this coming week in the club, we're going to be talking about, if you've ever read Code the Extraordinary Mind by Vishaan Lakshani, he talks about rules. And rules are bullshit rules, is what he calls them. And he said there are absolute rules. You and I jump out of a plane, and the rule of gravity is that we're both going down. That's an absolute rule. And then there are rules that we have in our head around pretty much everything in our life that really aren't absolute. They're kind of bullshit rules. They're things that we make up to be true. Um, and you know, we've all heard, you know, an unexamined life is not worth living. These rules that we have around things that we haven't given a lot of thought to can really cause us a lot of problems. And I'm not saying that this doctor hasn't thought this through. I'm just trying to give you some insight as to how I look at this stuff. So, you know, the truth is, do I want to adjust? I mean, do I want to do a report of findings and give the care plan on the second visit? No, I don't. And here's why. And in what he's saying, it makes perfect sense. I have more time with them to build a relationship. They can start to experience the work. A lot of people say, I just couldn't imagine purchasing something I haven't experienced yet. I used to feel that way until I started giving recommendations before I did the first adjustment, and most everybody signed up for care. So it's just really worth thinking this stuff through and asking ourselves, you know, between our headspace, are there any contradictions? And then once we're clear in our headspace and our procedures, are there any contradictions? So again, I'll do my best in this format. My answer to this, doctor, would be this: if you're happy and it's working, then do it, and that makes me happy. One way to know for sure is to use our stat sheet. For those of you who don't have my stat sheet, just in the comment section say stats, and I'll send you my killer stat sheets. But Doc, I know you're in our program and you've got the stat sheets. You know, in the brown section, it's how many visit ones did I do? How many came back for visit two? Of those, how many signed up for care? Did they sign up for pay per visit, which in this health and wellness model should be very few. Many of the doctors I coach don't offer that at all. Was it a smaller plan, 1 to 3 months? Was it a larger plan, 6 months to a year? So, doc, you want to take a look, and as long as you're happy with your statistics, far out, that makes me happy too. What I would say is know this: I promise you 100% guaranteed you can have a very high percentage of people signing up for very large programs on visit two. So consult the exam, go home, adjust or not, go home, come back, report of findings, care plan, people sign up for care. I guarantee it positively. I've been coaching for 24 years. I did it for 14 years prior to that. Everyone I'm one-on-one coaching at this moment is doing that. Most everyone that comes saying they want to do a 3 or a 4 or 5 day report of findings, once they learn this process, they go, oh, I get it. And they go to that. So I know you can. It may not be what you want to do, but I just don't want you to have that rule in your head that it can't be done, because that's simply not true. And again, all that matters is that it works for you and you're happy. Um, Everything we do is a double-edged sword. Everything we do in life is a double-edged sword. So doing it later, the upside to that is you have time. You have time to build the relationship. You have time to experience your work. Blah blah blah. I get that. That's good. Possible downside or bad is that we miss an opportunity. There's a window of opportunity when they have all this stuff going on and they're looking for help, and their brain literally works in a different way. Once they get a few adjustments and they start feeling better, oftentimes you're thinking this isn't a big deal. But the truth of the matter is if you're going to help them get healthy and stay healthy and really resolve their problems, if you've done x-rays or scans or neuroinfinity, or, and myotome test, like, you can tell there's a lot going on with these folks. Oftentimes they're now feeling good. They don't think it's a big deal, and therefore they're not going to sign up for the type of plan that they really should have signed up for if they wanted to resolve the problem and actually not just feel better, but resolve it. So, those are some thoughts on that. The second question, Doc, and again, great questions, was um, we've not done great with patients who call up and say they want to get adjusted on the first visit. We actually just lost a new patient on the phone with this staff because of her answer, which occurred when I was not in the office, and it was a good learning point for the staff. But I'd like to know your advice on how to handle the new patient call. Personally, I don't adjust on the first visit. This is what he's saying in the email. I've never seen it go well, and those types of patients are usually pop and pray patients, which I'm not looking for. I feel that they don't get a chance to value the adjustment and have understanding of what the process will be. Again, I'd love your thoughts. Great question, as always, Doc. Um, Again, it comes down to headspace and procedures. I need to get really clear about why would I want to adjust on the first visit, or why would I not want to adjust on the first visit. Now, from the patient's perspective, can you understand why they would want treatment to get adjusted on the first visit? Well, yeah, I understand that perfectly. I would too. It makes sense to me. And the truth is, as a profession, we've shot ourselves in the foot. Most of the doctors out there are doing symptomatic care, and I don't care if you're talking chiropractors, naturopaths, osteopaths, acupuncturists, massage therapists, holistic medical doctors. It doesn't matter. We've all shot ourselves in the foot. So, I understand why they feel that way, but and unfortunately we've shot ourselves in the foot. And again, unfortunately, you look at the schools nowadays, other than just a handful of them, it's crack the area of pain, and if it doesn't go away in 3 or 4 visits, send them to a real doctor. That's unfortunate that that's what's going on, but it's true. Um, so it's, as always, a double-edged sword. The upside to adjusting on the first visit is that's what they want and they're happy. That's a possible upside. A possible downside is to adjusting on the first visit is that they feel better. So if they feel better, clearly this is not a real big problem, but the reality is it may be a real big problem. And now we've lost that opportunity to better help them understand that, or it's been diminished, or they don't feel better, or they actually feel worse. That's a problem too. So we can really shoot ourselves in the foot by adjusting on the first visit. Now, it can be difficult, if you've got to review your x-rays, you've got to review your scans. Like, I don't feel comfortable adjusting somebody until I've reviewed these tests. Well, that makes sense. If you don't have those kinds of things, it can be a bit difficult to say to somebody, I'm going to go ahead and study your information, and then you'll come back, I'll go over what's going on, can we help, how long it will take, what it will cost, and at that time we'll discuss care, etc. If you don't really have anything that you're going to study. Now, I don't have a problem with adjusting on the first visit. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to say something like, if you're okay with it, I would like to go ahead and adjust you, and I'd like to see how your body responds. Like, everybody responds at a different rate, and it will really help me come up with a personalized care plan for you. And for me, that would be true, because everyone obviously does respond at a different rate. But if I am going to adjust on the first visit, that's how I'm going to do it. And if not, then I'm just going to let them know, I need to review this, and then you'll come back and we'll go over it. Okay, so other notes I made to myself. Okay, and if you choose not to, if you're not going to adjust on the first visit and you're clear in your head and those aren't rules, you've really thought that through, then now we have to look at the procedure. So what do I want my CA saying on the phone? I'm going to just look at a range of different kinds of things I've heard over the years that people do. One of them, and I don't like this and I don't recommend this, but I'm just telling you things that I've heard on this continuum. So I'm not going to adjust them on the first visit. And people will have their CA say, listen, the doctor would be happy to adjust you if he feels he has enough information and he feels that he can help you, etc. Um, I don't like that. You're lying. But again, people do that. Another one is, you can discuss that with the doctor when you come in. She's going to go ahead and go through the consult and the exam. And if she feels it's appropriate, that kind of thing. Again, still on that side, but it is, that's what people do. On the far other end would be no, the doctor will not adjust you on the first visit. Now, if you're going to do that, you want to make it make sense to them and put yourself in a different position, right? So the doctor really feels that that she needs to go through the consultation to see exactly what's going on with you, what your history is, what your goals are, do a full examination to really figure out what's going on with you and what the underlying cause is, right? The truth of the matter is just cracking the area of pain is rarely the answer. And most of the time, the area of pain is a compensation, and the underlying issue is below it or above it. If you're thinking more as far as adjusting goes, if you're doing nutrition, functional medicine, it could be an underlying issue of a nutrient. It could be, if you're doing acupuncture, it could be far away. If you do the kind of work I do, it might be neuroemotional. It might be a sensory nerve issue on the foot that's causing the shoulder problem. So it really, so much of this depends on how you practice. But you can just say no, and here's why. And then there's kind of a blend of that, which is, look, the truth is, and then everything I just went through. And then, look, if you're in real crisis right now and you really feel like you need to get adjusted today, I could ask the doctor if it's okay. You can come in the morning. We can do the consult. We could do the exam. The doctor can then go over your X-rays or scans or whatever during lunch, and then you can come back and after lunch, and you can get adjusted, if appropriate. So those are just some of my thoughts on it. I'm hoping that helps. If you if anybody else has any other ideas on this, this is our community, and I would love your feedback. I certainly know I don't know all the answers, so I would love your feedback as your thoughts. In general, I'm always looking at headspace and procedures. Make sure the headspace are true and honest, and you've thought them through, and then that your procedures are in line with those. In the end, all that matters is that it works and that it works for you. So I hope that helps. As always, much love and aloha. Bye, gang.